Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with the Claires. Unfortunately, the other Claire had to leave us last minute. She had a bit of a technical issue, but you've got me. I don't know if that's good or a bad thing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us from all over the world. Had a quick look through the comments. And as always, lots of you joining us from all over the world. Lovely to see you, Carol Archdale for Northern Ireland. We have Italy, we have California, we have Norfolk in the UK, we have Arizona, all these places I want to go to. Wiltshire, Devon. And if you've never been to these places, maybe you should come visit because we have a beautiful country. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. We have a wonderful guest who defies people's opinions about what you can and can't do with our OM system kits. And we're going to show you lots of lovely images. We also want you to ask our guest questions. You know, don't be afraid to pop a question into the comments. And as always, if there are questions we don't get to, because there are lots of images, I will go back within the next week, 2 weeks, and then we will answer them as we go. So as I said, please get your questions ready. Also, if you're new to our channel and if you don't know what we do here, maybe you've not seen us too much, always like the show and then obviously subscribe. I know a lot of you already subscribe, but if you don't, please do, because then you can get a notification that something amazing is coming up. Now, I've talked for 2 minutes. Without further ado, I would love to introduce you, or maybe reintroduce you, to our wonderful OM System ambassador, Andrew Fusek Peters. Hey, Andrew.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm very good, I have to say. Very good indeed. Really happy and honoured to be here.
Oh, lovely to have you. It's been a few months. I haven't seen you since Bird Fair, which happens in the UK. If you're not aware, it's the biggest European bird fair. I was going to say biggest European bird fair in Europe, but the biggest bird fair in Europe. And that happens in the UK once a year in Rutland, which is a fantastic place. But we always get our wonderful speakers to come. It's such a great event, isn't it, Andrew?
Amazing. And the amount of people coming, and their passion is birds, which is one of my passions. Right. So I've got nothing to complain about. It's just fascinating. Lots going on.
Yeah. And it's like, it is fascinating because it's the amount of trip when you're walking through those huge marquees and you could literally go anywhere in the world to photograph birds, whether it's migration or whether it's the middle of summer or it's plumage or whatever it is you're going for. But we're going to concentrate a little bit more on the British side of birds today. Maybe, are we a little bit? What do you think?
Yeah. What's under our noses? There's this real snobbery. It's like, oh, I've got the rare 7-toed spotted eagle that's only one of them in the whole world. Well, I'm sorry, I photograph blue tits, but wait till you see what I do with them.
Well, and this is the thing, isn't it? It's that, yes, it's amazing to take these big trips. You've got small kit, you pack it in your bag, you're ready to go anywhere, light and mobile to travel. You've got your trusted OM1 and a lens attached. And, you've got an amazing system to carry. But actually, there's a lot more on your doorstep. And that gives you that chance to practice and to play with the kit and get used to it. But also, there's so much incredible stuff right here under our noses, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of been my shtick. The last 2 books I did, Butterfly Safari and then more recently Garden Safari, was about having a safari in the UK and seeing what was in our backyards and parks and gardens and allotments. And not only celebrating that, but saying it's really worth studying and it's really worth photographing because there's some amazing stuff happening and it's worth seeing that.
Well, as we go along, I will be putting your questions up. So make them relevant to Andrew's pictures. If you've got any questions about kit, maybe you're looking to treat yourself to a little gift for Christmas or holidays, or maybe you just want to know what lens that was shot on, what body that was shot on, and some hints and tips. I think we should steam straight in and let's get a first image up and let's get the show going, shall we? I love this image.
This was 7 years in the planning. First of all, can I just say, I'm not going to apologise for not being a full-frame shooter because this was taken with the OM1 Mark II and the 7-14 f2.8.
Wow.
If you work really hard, you can do something like this. But this
Right.
was only a few weeks ago. The conditions were extraordinary. I won't say where this stone circle is because I don't want to be overrun with people, but it's somewhere in the UK, somewhere in Wales. I'll give that away. But I had one of those amazing nights where I trekked for a long time to get to the spot before sunset. And then I had to leave this spot in the pitch dark, which was terrifying. But ISO 6400, 20-second exposures, a lot of stacking going on. So the stacking was to stacking 20 for the sky, I think, which then gives you an incredibly clean image. And I got the meteor. What's not to like? Bit of lighting for the foreground. It all came together. I think this is my best ever Astro photo. And I think this just, it's beautiful. I'm always aiming for an emotional response, but I'm also aiming to go to the height of what my kit can deliver and what beauty I can bring to a situation.
You know, you're absolutely right. It's that whole full frame argument, you know, and you shot with a 2.8 lens. We do have even brighter lenses, not maybe quite as wide, but I think this is always, I always love to see this. Don't tell me I have to shoot full frame images, right? Because, you know, the argument maybe 10 or 12 years ago was a little further apart, but that argument now is just getting nearer and nearer and nearer because the process have got better. And I know people have heard me say this so many times, so apologies for repeating, but look at that image. You know, we are now coming into or are into the season of clear nights, dark skies, you know, dark days, dark nights. And it is quite important that you start getting yourself ready to put your coats and your, you know, your all night kit on and your hot chocolate in your flask and heading out for this type of photography. Not only is it fascinating, it's also really rewarding when you get the shot, right?
And also, you've got a couple of things that are going to help you with OM System. I mean, the first one has to be the obvious one, my friends. I'm taking a body and a lens that is, I just stick it in my backpack. It's tiny. And when I'm trekking for a long time, that really works for me. So that's the first thing. The stack sensor. I mean, there's three things. The stack sensor really makes not an issue shooting ISO 6400. I've done Milky Way shots at 16,000 ISO. You can do that. But the other thing is the Starry AF. It's amazing. It's foolproof. And I'm never coming back with a bunch of blurry photos, which I used to. So I just feel safe and kind of looked after by OM. You know, I bring all my skill, but the kit is going to bring its skill to help me achieve something like this.
Yeah, interesting. I'm going to pop this. Some people will say, oh, we've mentioned the Panasonic word. I don't mind. We're not scared of other competitors. We work all together. Missing a fast prime in the OMSYSTEM lineup, like the 9mm Panasonic f1.7.
Yes. And
I absolutely agree.
I really agree. I really want like a 12mm 1.2 or even an 8mm. I know you've got the 1.8, but that's the kind of curvy one, and I'm not very good with that. So please, we us Astro people need a fast prime. We need it. OM, I'm begging.
I would love it. Let's sort of, you know, I mean, obviously I don't want to start a riot, but yeah, I mean, a fast prime would be amazing. Especially because if you have seen on the website, there are some Astro products now. I don't want to talk too much about them because we sort of haven't really done a full launch. There's been a bit of a soft launch. But if you read Japanese and if you read some of our more extended things about what we do, there are Astro cameras and there are Astro filters. Andrew will talk about that a bit later when we're off camera.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'm excited.
New products.
Come on. Okay. Come on.
I know. We've got some people saying great shots. Love it. Fabulous picture. Great Astro pic. And it's wonderful. Got some lovely people. Guido's on. Hey, Guido. He's one of our other ambassadors. Going to see Guido next month. He's coming up for the Kendall Mountain Festival. He's coming over from the Netherlands for his landscape stuff. So that's going to be fantastic. His talk has sold out, by the way, which is great. And lots and lots of lovely images. Lots and lots of lovely. Lovely again to see Dewar Donington tape. Just back from the British Photography Awards. They were great. Oh, they were great.
Well,
so
I mean,
wonderful.
You know, I got, so my image of the the Black Darter dragonfly against the Milky Way, again, about 7 or 8 years in the planning, a single shot, dragonfly and Milky Way in the same raw exposure, no AI. I worked and worked and worked for 7 years, and that got highly commended in British Wildlife
See,
Photography Year this year.
7
And that
years.
was 16,000 ISO, my friends. I'll just say that again,
Wow.
just for the sake of it.
16, I mean,
16,000
it's
ISO.
that planning. It is about
Oh my,
planning when you
yeah,
want something
yeah,
different and you want
yeah,
something unique, because we can all go out and take the same shots or well, you know what I mean. But that having that sort of knack for that's what I love about your images and about the way you go about things, Andrew. You say, right, okay, this isn't going to take me. I'm not going to just get this tomorrow. This is going to take me,
yeah,
and I'm quite happy for it to take me this amount of time, as long
yeah,
as I know I'm going to get there. And I love that about you. You know,
yeah.
it's you're not looking for that instant fix. You're saying this could be really something here if I take my time and get everything, get
Yeah.
all the moons aligned, sort of thing. Let's jump to the next shot whilst we are here. Oh, tell me about this.
This is really interesting. So this is 2018. I just started with Olympus. You'd given me a pro loan, and you said to me, this is from the Bird Fair or I was thinking it was the Bird Fair, and
Yes.
you didn't know me from Adam.
I didn't.
But you said you'll have it for 6 weeks, but at the end of the 6 weeks you won't want to give it back. And I was like, oh, but I'm full frame. I'm special.
Such a salesperson.
I was so condescending. And then I had this tiny thing, EM1 Mark II. I think this was the 40 to 150. I got this opportunity on a lawn at 1,000 feet high on the Welsh Shropshire border to photograph mother hare coming in to suckle a leveret. At the time, photographed less than 10 times in the world. Here's the interesting thing. 4,000 ISO. That's the EM1 Mark II. I mean, come on, folks. You know, we're going back a few generations there.
Got an EM1 Mark II sitting on my desk. I mean,
yes, small and light,
incredible.
and what was compared to my Canon 7D2, silent. So so I'm in my little hide on this lawn, this very, you know, it's a lawn, seeing one of the great wildlife spectacles of the world. And I'm quiet and silent, and so mother hare is not disturbed, and little baby leveret suckles, only for about 30 seconds. My hands were shaking. Oh, my hands were shaking. So the other thing is the ibis. I was shaking because I was so excited. Look at that. What more do you want?
And it is incredible, isn't it? That, like you say, you get that adrenaline buzz, and it's like, oh, you know, steady as she goes. But like you say, a sucking leveret is quite an unusual shot.
Yeah.
This is not something you see every day. And like you say, this is months and months in the planning. We just have a quick going back to the Astro one. Laura says, how has Andrew
I'm really glad. Laura, thank you. So
Laura.
of course, I'm supposed to be a proper astrophotographer, whatever that means these days. So I brought lighting with me. And the bloody light had run out of juice. It was not working. And I thought, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I tried a really long exposure of the stone circle, but it was pitch dark. That didn't work. So I just got my phone out and I lit it with my iPhone. I did a wash of light over it and then masked that in. It was because it was all in the same. It was in the same place, so my tripod was locked off. So
yes.
it is a kind of painterly effect, but I lit the stones and then masked out the surrounds, and it looks like it. Well, it does look like something. When I finished all the processing, I felt my heart leap, and I just thought, wow. Anyhow, yeah, there you go. I answered the question.
Laura says, I know Laura Barcy. Laura is wonderful. I haven't seen you in ages, Laura. Big kisses to you. Hope to see you soon.
Hello,
just
Laura.
Before we jump on, just like to say, and would everybody welcome Steve? Hi, everybody. First time here calling in from Devon. Steve, welcome to the show. Really important. Come join the family. Come join the questions. Come join the chat. Wonderful for you to join us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Okay, I'm going to jump through to this incredible king. I mean, listen, Kingfisher on a stick, incredible. Kingfisher in flight, incredible. This, even more so.
So let's talk ethics first, because ethics are really important in wildlife photography.
Let's do this.
And there are now companies and people offering, what they do is they put a little glass thing in the water with minnows. Often they cut the tails off the minnows and the fins off the minnows. So it's called live baiting. It's entirely frowned upon by most in the wildlife community, but you're going to get amazing kingfisher shots. But morally, it's just corrupt, really, and people don't know that and they don't understand that. So this was different because this is my local river, and I was told where the kingfisher was breeding, but I didn't want to get too close to that. But I could see the perch where it was, and I just hid myself in the opposite bank. So it's in the wild. It's a place I go swimming in the summer. I just tucked myself in the bank. The OM1 had come out, so for the first time we had some really decent subject detection, bird detection.
Yes.
And that was the game changer, because by God, when they go in the water, it's fast, and when they come out, it's fast. So again, I'm shooting quite high ISO because it's quite dark. I think it's 4,000 ISO. So for me, you might see so-called better kingfisher shots, but they're all baited from tanks, and so I just don't count them. This is much more natural. The kingfisher's enjoying its natural life. It's fishing in the river. All that colour. There you go. What more do you want?
Stunning. You're right about the baiting thing. I was looking at some people using other cameras. I mean, and you know, that whole thing about baiting. People go, there's a glass box under the water, and they get that whole kingfisher thing that, you know, with the water and it's interesting, isn't it? Because I went to a reflection pool last week, a very local one. It's only local things like tits and nuthatches and robins, but it was just as incredible. You know, the squirrels were drinking out of the water, the wood pigeons, and there was some beautiful shots, but there was no baiting. I was 60 odd yards away. And we, like with Geraint and our macro photographers, you know, we always ask people to do stuff in situ rather than taking it back to the house or to, you know, to sort of baiting. And it's a real interesting
and Claire, there's a difference. So that's live baiting, and then there's sunflower seeds and sunflowers and fat balls and all that, which the RSPB actually says can help some birds survive the winter that would not normally survive, and is good for conservation and is good for bird numbers.
Yeah.
And I do that. I feed my garden birds, but that's entirely different.
And, you know, it's interesting because I know there's a lot of berries out on the tree, and they normally say if the trees are full of berries, it means we're going to have a bad winter. So you shouldn't feed the birds during the summer, because you should allow them to try and fend for themselves, especially when they've got babies. But in the winter, you do need to feed. Like you say, you need to put the fat balls up. You need to sort of encourage the wildlife throughout the year or throughout the winter, and then back off again in the summer, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Laura has asked, are you using Pro Capture for this?
Oh, am I an OM system user? Sorry, I have to laugh, because literally, what is the most important tool in most of my work? It is Pro Capture. Right. And what I love is it's gone on and on and on. It's just, you've got so many different not interpretations, but we can tweak it. And certain new cameras come out, and they said, well, we'll give you half a second of pre-capture. That's what we'll give you. That's all they've got. 15 or 20 frames per second. I don't even know how many frames per second. I'm going, but I can do 50 frames per second with autofocus. And if you're in RAW, and if you're taking off in the plane of focus, 120 frames per second, which for butterflies is insane. So Pro Capture was a game changer for me. You do get the odd photographer goes, I know, I had a birder say this to me recently. He says, oh, well, that's not real photography, is it? And I just think, oh, the snobbery. I love the snobbery of people like that. Because I'm going, no, it's just a tool. That's like saying bird detection is oh, it's not real photography anymore. Well, can't we go back to single point autofocus? Yeah, and you won't get gotten in focus. Good for you.
I mean, they said that when autofocus came out, right? And I said this before on many a stream. When autofocus came out, people were like, this is revolutionary. It's like, you know, like when digital imaging came out rather than analog. Oh my God, it's cheating. And I love the traditional arts. Of course I do. I love manual focus. But, you know, if there are tools that make things easier and make the job better, why not, right? We use
I don't think on my Zenit XP 1000 film camera that I could have ever got a shot like this.
Exactly.
So my career professionally and in the media and in books has exploded because these tools enable me to envision and then capture such extraordinary moments of nature that with a blink of an eye you can't see them.
Exactly.
You know, I got green hair streak butterfly in flight. I've done all the UK butterfly species in flight. That's this kind of thing I did for my book Butterfly Safari. Nobody had done that. But the one that was hardest was green hair streak, because it goes really fast. And I think
Oh,
eventually the shutter speed was 1/10,000th or 12,000th of a second.
wow, that is fast.
And I froze it in flight. And when I got that, and I was on the island of Jersey, and I got this sequence of a green hair streak, it was like, oh my God.
Christmas.
Freezing time. So I'm sorry. I'll take whatever tools can, because then we can see nature. You know, before I saw through a glass darkly, now I see face to face. I mean, literally, it's spiritual. You see these moments in nature that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Interestingly, Janie asks, are you using auto ISO to determine your ISO?
I always use auto ISO, and then I'm working with exposure compensation, and I'm not really bothered. I mean, once we're getting beyond 6,400, I get, you know, when the light starts to go. But if I needed to get the shot, I'll do it. Of course, we want lower ISO, but I'm not huge. Also with the Oxo Deep Prime and stuff like that these days, there's some very good noise reduction. So
wonderful. And Dua says wonderfully to remind me.
Oh, good. Thank you, Dua. Brilliant.
He says, search OM sponsored ethical wildlife photography, a field guide to photographing animals.
Absolutely.
With respect.
No
Wonderful.
fish were harmed in the photographing. Well, they were harmed, but they were harmed by the kingfisher naturally, because he's got to eat.
Dinner time.
Not by me.
Dinner time.
Go on, next.
Okay,
please.
We've got some lovely people saying lovely. I love Greedo. Says full frame, crops all the bird images. They're all cheating. And this is the joy. No crop needed. You just get nearer with our long lenses. Oh, I love this. Beautiful, beautiful. Tell us about this image.
So part of my work is making friends both with photographers but landowners and farmers, and this is a farm in South Shropshire where I live, so we got permission. They put the hole in the barn because the barn swallow, well, they breed in barns, don't they? But that's a working barn, so the tractors are in and out all the time. The swallows just don't care. But because that hole was there, and when they're in and out feeding young, that's what we call a fixed focal point, my friends.
Right.
And if you've got a fixed focal point, you can pre-set up and pre-focus manually using, oh my God, the focus peaking on OMSYSTEM is so good. So I'm working about 5,000th of a second, f8. I need good light. Sometimes I use lighting, or it'll be sunlight. I tell you what, I took thousands of photos. So you want the one, and I'm some distance away, so I'm not disturbing the swallows that are coming in and out. I'm using remote control. But here we see a swallow in full flight with the backdrop of the barn walls. What more do you want in life?
It shows habitat, it shows flight, it shows wing pattern, it shows head. It has all of those elements that create this incredible image. It shows its working life. Do you know what I mean? I love bird on stick images, don't get me wrong, but they are exactly what they are. This is a working bird full in its working environment. I love that. Absolutely love it.
And also look at the background door. The thing that I would say to any tips to wildlife photographers that are starting out or wanting to develop further is, please don't just think about photographing the thing. The thing is great. If you want to get the thing in focus, good for you. You want to get the thing in flight, good. Think about all four corners of the frame, because you are creating something, and you're creating a picture of some sort. And here I've got wood and old holes and ancient hinges, and it tells a story, and it's beautiful. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Wonderful. I mean, I don't know who else is commenting in our comments. Someone from OM System is online. Thank you, whoever that is. And they have put up the guide.
Cool.
There it is. Somebody's joined us. They're being very quiet because they're not in the studio. But thank you, whoever it is, whoever's helping out in the comments. Probably someone from the States at this time of night. Might be Michela. Hello, Michela, if it's you. If it could be Jim. But they're all there. So wonderful. Thanks for the help. And they have put that little link up if you want to read the Ethical Wildlife Photography Guide. So thank you so much. And let's go to, again, Pro Capture. We're going to talk about Pro Capture. I mean, we'll say when it's not Pro Capture. I think that's probably the easiest way.
This has to be Pro Capture, because he's coming out so fast that if I was relying on my thumb to press the remote shutter, forget it. So this is a sea change, and Olympus, as then, were the first company to see the potential of this.
Yeah.
And I've then taken that and run with it. And the first thing I did was butterflies. And as I said, nobody had done it before, because every one of the serious butterfly photographers had done it in studios with flash and triggers and unnatural, which is fine. That's all they could do. I could go out in the field, and with Pro Capture, all those tools at my fingertips, I could capture things that had never before ever been captured, which is pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So we have Ian asks, how does Pro Capture work with a remote trigger? Well, you have a couple of triggers. You can either use your phone, which will use Pro Capture, because basically it works in like a bulb where you put the switch down and it's constantly running. You can use a wired remote, but obviously you need to be fairly near to your camera, or you can use a wireless remote. I will put the links in for them, but all of them. What do you use, Andrew? What's your...
So you can't, the reason you can't use your phone for this type of work is you need the half press on the shutter, and I don't think you can do that with your phone. Or maybe you can.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay. But for me, it's the tactile thing. So I've got the Capture CUP TUR, I think they're German, a Handheld Capture. Yeah, very good. But I'm sure that Olympus remote is good as well. I ought to say that. But they work very well for me. I can be 100 feet away. I've got my half press down, which is buffering the photos. Then when I see the swallow go out, I fully press down. And I'm normally set to about 25, 30 photos beforehand, or if I'm using 120 frames per second, like 50 photos beforehand. And as long as I get my finger down pretty quick, I'm not going to miss the moment.
Yeah. And we do have
different birds.
Yeah, that absolutely. So we do have the wireless remote, and again, a nice little stocking filler. It's under £100. It's about £100 ish. Again, great if you're thinking, oh, what do I give someone for Christmas? A nice little stocking filler. I will put the link in once we're on to our next image. I will find it, or whoever that secret person is in the background. They can do it. So yes, Ian says, I have the OM wireless remote. Does it have the half press? Yes, it does, my darling. It absolutely does. Okay, let's jump on to the next image, and then we'll go through some of the questions. Not only do I love the birds in flight, I love the background. And that's quite a weird thing to say. Oh, let's look at the background. But oh my days, this makes that image, doesn't it?
So again, you do get some full frame photographers go, ooh, bokeh, ooh, oh God, it's going to be, and I'm going, well, just look at some of my photos. I get beautiful backgrounds. And when you're shooting with a big, with big reach, I think this would be 150, 400, you're going to be throwing a lot of that background out. If you've got beautiful morning light, doesn't get better than that. If you've got some seeds hidden in the branch, doesn't get better than that. You want a fight shot, great. Siskin's fine. Sparrow's great. Greenfinches, wow. But come on, folks. 2 male bramblings who came in literally in the last couple of weeks of winter, about a year and a half ago, absolutely magical. So I didn't think that I would ever get a moment like this, because they are really special visitors to us in the winter. And to come into your garden is extraordinary. So this is really one of my lead photos for Garden Safari. And again, Pro Capture, because you're going to be taking thousands of photos and you don't want to miss it. And 50 frames per second really, really helps to capture that perfect moment with both sets of wings up. Yeah. Beautiful. It's a bit of all right. And it was printed big, wasn't it? For the at the OM stand at one of the Bird Fair or somewhere like this. This was printed huge, like 8 foot by.
Yes. This is the is this the one?
Or was it the Bird Fair?
Panels.
It was one of your background panels.
Yeah,
and nobody came up and said, "Oh, that's not very good quality. Why don't you shoot full frame?"
Nobody did.
Nobody said that.
No. Quick question from John. John, no, you can't activate the Pro Capture on the back button focus. Back button focus is purely that. You do need to use the front trigger if you want to activate Pro Capture, just so you know. Hello, there we go. There's the culprit. It's Jim. Say hello, everybody, to Jim. Jim is in the States, and he is helping out in the comments tonight. Jim, thank you, my darling. Appreciate you stepping in there and say hello. Hello to everybody. Carol, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. And he's also put the remote in there. He's wonderful.
Hey, get the remote.
And Robert, I love this. Robert says, I bought my own stocking. I'll film my own stocking. Yes.
Yes.
I like to hear. Okay, so let's jump into the next image.
Oh,
Oh,
so
who doesn't like babies?
I just doesn't get
Are these
better.
in your garden or
No.
are they in someone else's
Unfortunately,
garden?
because I live in the UK countryside, and anyone who lives in the UK countryside will know a lot of foxes are shot by farmers and they're left on. There are lots of nice farmers out there as well, I know, but there are some not so nice ones and landowners, and they consider them vermin, which is really sad because they're beautiful and they belong. Anyhow, so I got invited to Clapham by a journalist, never met me. I met her on social media. She said, "Come and stay. I've got foxes breeding in my garden."
Ooh.
And I took a 5-hour drive to Clapham in South London.
Wow.
And literally, as I got there, it was all kicking off. There were 5 cubs. Mum was around. It was a big back garden. My friend lets them be completely wild, so she doesn't feed them. And Mum goes off and gets food for them in the evening. But I just had my own 1 Mark II and my 150-400. And yeah, I didn't really need to do much except point the lens and the camera at the action. But because we were in the living room and behind plate glass, there was no disturbance. So it was lovely. Then I went upstairs and stuck my camera out the window so I could get a direct line. And then that's when I got this shot.
Absolutely
Again, I think this was just me doing 18 frames per second burst, silent shutter. So yeah, I was just following the action and watching. I didn't really need to get pre-capture for this. But again, it's freezing time, isn't it?
Yes. And it's that lovely playful joy. And I was expecting you to say this was sort of near you, but like you say, you travel 5 hours to come into South London. Sorry, my dog's playing up tonight. No. To get these incredible shots. You're absolutely beautiful.
And someone's going to ask, surely, but okay, what's your AF setting? And folks, as we all know with OM, we've been asking them for a long time. Claire, keep asking everyone in Japan. We don't just want cat and dog. It's an outdoor brand. We want animal or mammal or animals. But the cat and dog works very well for foxes.
And it's about that algorithm build. You know, obviously, when you look at a plane and a helicopter, fairly easy to build an algorithm for those sort of standard shapes. Then when you go into birds, obviously, again, it's quite varied, but a little easier. When you go into animals, anything from a monkey to an elephant, it does become that much bigger. And so the algorithm which we build ourselves, it's not an external algorithm, but is sold into us. Takes a lot longer, but for sure these things get developed. I think cat and dog, you can do a lot. I've done otters on cat and dog, and I've done sort of a few weird and wonderfuls. But like you say, that would be, I assume, would be the next joy.
We are asking us ambassadors. We are asking.
Yes. Interesting. I'm just going through. Robin's put a great question on, a great answer on. If you set for back button focus and want to use pro capture, you can simply override the back button focus when you fire the front shutter button. Yay! We love Robin. He's so cool. Elizabeth says hello to the dog. Okay, let's go. One more image, and we're gonna go.
Oh, so same farm for the swallows. And the farmer said, "Oh, we got a robin nesting in the stone wall of the tractor yard. Again, there's farm vehicles going past. The gate clangs against this bit where the robin is, and the robin flies out, but in and out feeding the babies." So this was with my own 1 Mark II tripod and my 12-100. Yeah.
Wow.
So I set up when the parent was off grabbing food for the chicks. Then again, remote. I went right across the other side of the yard. And to me, in terms of the wildlife photos I took last year for my book, this is one of my highlights of the year. And this was just commended in Bird Photographer of the Year. And there's one more clever thing I did, because I was shooting obviously in the format, my 4/3 frame, that got the top part of the nest and the birds, but not the bottom half. So very cleverly, I then tilted the camera down slightly to get the bottom of the stone surround. So you've got a perfect frame to make it, and I made it a panorama. Yeah,
I mean, it's beautiful.
I mean, come on.
Again, it would have been so easy to go full in. Let's just get the chicks. Let's just get that shot.
Yeah.
But context in this instance is so important, right? You know, and they look so fragile in their environment. And again, it sort of says to you, leave them alone, stay way back. you know, let mum do her job that she's
Yeah.
so well trained to do. And the
But
chicks,
look at all four corners of the frame. This is not just a
yes,
picture of some birds and a mum. It's
right.
everything, and the stone and the lichen and the shape. It's just all there for me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of questions about the 55-200, but we'll come on to those when we have
Yeah.
a
Because I've got
relevant
shots from
image.
that one. Whoa! Come on.
Right, let's talk about this. Now, we did speak
Come on.
about this a bit at the bird fair, because
Yeah.
this is quite a unique and interesting happening. Tell us exactly the science behind it, Andrew.
I discovered this by accident. This is called the rainbow diffraction effect, when the infinite light of the sun comes through the small structures of the bird's wings, called the barbs and barbules. If they come in at exactly the right angle, the light diffracts into different wavelengths, which causes different colors. There's a reason why it's been photographed less than 5-10 times in the world, and that's because, again, it is technically so incredibly difficult to achieve. And I discovered this effect by accident 2 or 3 winters ago, and I just couldn't believe it when I saw it. I thought there's something wrong, and I was actually trialing for the OM1 Mark II at the time, so I had a pre-production model in my hands. And I just thought it was something wrong with the raw file. I just thought, this is odd, this is weird.
Right.
But I've got a friend who's a scientist. He came around and he explained the science to me, and he just said, you've got something there. And the moment I get something and I do something that hasn't been done before, I want it again and again, and I want to get it in different species. I didn't think it would happen with the woodpecker, and the woodpecker only came into my feeders once in the whole winter, and I got this shot. So this is not AI, this is not fake, this is not me saying to firefly or generate or whatever, all that. I won't swear, I'll try not to.
No.
Not that stuff. Nature can beat firefly into a cocked hoop, I will say that, because this is unbelievable. Never seen before. There's a guy in America who did it with hummingbirds, but I've taken these very humble UK species and shown extraordinary wonders of nature.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I've seen these images big, projected large, and they are mesmerizing, you know, so unique and so incredibly beautiful, for sure. If you have any questions for Andrew, please pop them in the comments. As I said, I'm trying to just find sort of relevant questions. There are. Bill says dolphin and whale autofocus would be good. I mean,
I can't answer that because I don't do marine stuff, but yeah, why not?
No. But interestingly, they're, like you say, once they've jumped out of the water, trying to capture them mid sort of up, you know, they're in and out, aren't they? Would be a good thing to do. Let's just check. There's a couple of things I'll go back and ask. We'll talk about this is one. This is a 150-400 question. What happens to the maximum aperture when you engage the 1.25 on the 150 Pro lens? Well,
I'm not sure I understand what that means, because it goes to 5.6, obviously.
Yes. That's what I would say,
and I never want to shoot beyond that because it's just not good to do that. You want to shoot, these are lenses to be shot wide open, really. So
yeah, for sure. So yes, Steve, if you want to know, you just lose a stop. And again, if you were then to put a 1.4 converter on it on top of the built-in converter, which is, again, you lose 1 stop. And then if you put the 2 times converter on, which is here somewhere, you again lose another 2 stops. So
it goes to either F8 or F11 for the 1.4.
Absolutely. There you go. Hope that helps. Okay, let's just scrolling. Guido's got to put the kids to bed. So Guido, we'll speak to you soon. I like this, Mr. Kiwi. You should put on the poll, thinking of becoming one, but yes, we'll be soon. Well, Mr. Kiwi, if you do join the family, please join our live streams, because we do love to see you, and it's a big hello to you if you're here. Nixel says he's been left aghast at this collection.
That's very nice. Thank you. I work very hard.
Thank you so much. Always love the good feedback. It's always nice to be nice, right? So John says, do you use a blind to photograph the bird wing?
Yes, very good. Here we go. There's 2 things I do. One, I can do remote, so I put the camera outside next to my setup where I've got the nice sticks and sunflower seeds hidden in the bits of stuff. Or I just sit in my kitchen and I clean the double glazed window very, very well, and it happens to face onto all my bird feeders, and I just accept I get a tiny bit of loss of sharpness through the glass, but yeah, then the birds aren't aware of me. So yeah, my kitchen is a blind. I drink tea. Great, I love it.
Oh,
Oi, oi, come
wow.
on, come on.
I mean, again, let's go to the whole landscape Astro. Oh,
Yeah,
OM can't do
yeah,
the small
yeah,
sensors,
yeah.
don't do landscape or Astro. Well, look at that. Doesn't even look real.
No.
Doesn't even look real.
So this was the May the 10th, very famous one in 2024. One of the probably the biggest aurora we will ever see in our lifetimes.
Ever.
And I've done aurora in really interesting places, in beautiful landscape structures. But because I was working on a book about gardens, I thought, well, why not just do my house, which that is, the old chapel in a little village in South Shropshire, and just see how that looks. So it's very domestic, but it's extraordinary. And my press agency was really interesting because I sent that off to them, obviously, for the national papers. And they said, oh, it's a bit domestic. I think they'll just go for Stonehenge and everything, which they did. But they also went for my photo. So my point being is beauty can be much closer to us than we think, and can be of great grandeur as much as Stonehenge or St. Paul's or, any of the great, the Empire State Building or whatever. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy.
Absolutely beautiful. Really, really stunning. I mean, I did speak to a guy who does some sciencey stuff and did say to me that these cycles do come in a couple of years. So there is a possibility we may get another big shower next year, because of the way, the ecliptical movement and all. I was like, oh, but he did say that you might get a couple of years where the aurora may blossom. So last year, I missed everything, right? Spent the whole evening in bed, was asleep. This year, I will have my kit by the door, in the boot, ready to rock, because I will definitely want to catch this in the UK. Normally people here in Europe, we head up to Norway, we head up to the Scandinavian countries, Sweden and so on, to capture this. There are special trips to do that. And I'm sure you guys in the US or whatever would head up to Canada or up to North. So to get it from your garden in the southern and western parts of England, pretty cool. Rare.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Happy with that.
Got lots of love for this. Fantastic aurora image. Ricardo says, I saw this one from Canada. It was amazing. The colors were visible to the naked eye.
I could see the colors. Yeah.
Incredible. Okay.
So this is the book. This is just what I do, and do check it out on Amazon. I love doing books. I love telling stories, and I love the fact that there's so much exciting wildlife right under our noses. So just a real celebration, and it came out earlier this year, and do check it out.
Again, a nice time to pop it in someone's stocking. Again,
it's
all perfect if you like wildlife books and like photography books. Again, this is such a lovely gift. It's so beautiful. I have seen it. It's just stunning. You get incredible images in there. And this isn't your first book, Andrew, is it?
No, I've done a lot of books over the years. This is my 10th photography book, and then I was a children's author with my wife.
Let's talk about that a bit, because let's talk about images in print and things like that, because you are massive when it comes to prints that you see in the Daily Mail, in the Metro, in the Guardian. I mean, which ones am I missing? If there's a wildlife shot, 9 times out of 10, it's one of yours if it's shot in the UK, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, not quite, but I am the most widely used wildlife photographer in the national papers. And the last week alone, I've had page 2 of the Daily Telegraph, page 2 of the Daily Star, the Daily Mail, the Times, a 2-page spread in the Scotsman, Guardian Week in Wildlife. I know Guardian Eyewitness centre spread. So, and I just want to say one little thing about that. I really, really do. OM is good enough. Because these picture editors, they need to have very good quality images that are going to be printed up. And the same for my work in books and for magazines like Amateur Photographer, BBC Wildlife Magazine, Country Life, you name it. They need images that are really, really good. And I want to tell you, they are good enough. So don't feel we need to apologize anymore.
No,
quality
and
of what's come on is the files are good. Yeah, of course, full frame's going to be slightly better. That's just the way it is. You can't beat physics, but I've not had an issue, and no picture editors I know at the national papers have had an issue, and no press agency and no magazine. They've never come back and said, "Sorry, Andy, they're just not quite good enough quality." I've had that happen.
And it makes me laugh when people say, you can upscale to TIFF, you can do stuff with these images to make them bigger, to upscale them. I mean, have you seen iPhone images on the tube where they've had so much work done to them that they look like normal images? I mean, and they've got a sensor that big. So, and I love what Tim says. Tim joins us and says OM gear can meet any genre challenge.
I agree.
But Elizabeth, I don't know where you are, Elizabeth Burnell, but she says there's the potential for
they're
Aurora
saying that,
tonight.
but we haven't got the weather tonight. We've got the weather tomorrow night, but we haven't got the
we're
weather
cloudy.
We'll see. Yeah, we're cloudy.
Yeah, where we are. And Jill says, if you got clear skies, look out tonight. If you've got clear skies, get your Aurora alerts on. You get an app, and there's also an email you can subscribe to for the Aurora lights. Bill, he's putting that book on his birthday Christmas wish list, so that's wonderful. And if you bring it to a show where Andrew is, he'll sign it for you as well. And we've put it up there for you. The Amazon link. Jim's there. Love Jim. I love it when Jim's here because I'm just relaxing a bit more. But Mr. Kiwi does ask, what OM was the Aurora taken on? I assume an OM1 Mark II?
Mark II and the 7-14, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Right, the new lens. On then.
Interesting. Elizabeth says, I have an OM3 as I need to get lighter gear. How good is for photo? Elizabeth, the OM3 and the OM1 Mark II are 97% the same as each camera. The OM3 has a slightly lower buffer and it has slightly less when it comes to live GND. But apart from that, there's not masses of difference. You don't get the grip, but internally it's got the same sensor, it's got the same brain, it's got the same processor. And so the only difference, it's got the little color and black and white mono profile on the front. So it's the same camera, but in two different shells. So you will be able to take a shot like that with your OM3. So make sure you get out there and do some stuff. Okay, like Charlie just says, quick one about the Aurora before. No set time. Watch the KP index forecast. Be in a darker sky area and northern latitudes. Wonderful. See how a wonderful family we have here. Everybody gets involved, and I love that. Let's get on with your next slide now.
Wow, here we go. Here we go.
Hang on. Is this 50 to 200?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So
I love it.
I got sent a copy before the lens came out to try, and I got to go to a certain place where the clouded yellows, we've got them now breeding moving up with global warming. Pro capture 120 frames per second is the only way you can get a sequence like this. No, it's not a single shot. There is no camera in the world that can do that yet.
Right.
It's a series of shots from a burst of 120 frames per second, layer masked in Photoshop. It's the same thing as they do with snowboard, taking off and doing a somersault or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see these amazing sequences. It's the thing I've pioneered and developed in terms of butterfly photography.
Right.
Look how sharp it is. Oh my God. Oh my God.
But also the other thing, the one thing I loved about your previous book was the patterns of light.
Yeah.
Because when you, with the naked eye, you're wandering, blah, 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 it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Open, close. But when you see the patterns of wing, open, slightly open, and then the different, the way they were, absolutely love. But tell me, let's talk about the 50 to 200 quickly. Like you say, you've had it. With the previous book, you would have used the 40 to 152, eh?
Yes. So my go-to was always the 40 to 150 with 1.4 on. But this gives me that extra reach for the shy butterflies. Right. And just the quality. The 40 to 150 I thought was stellar, but this is stellar on steroids. That's it. That's all I can say. It's stellar on steroids. Yeah,
absolutely. And
I'm not tracking the butterflies. There's no camera that can do that yet. I'm using fixed focus. I'm hoping that they take off in the plane of focus. This is a real taken a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 photos before you get a sequence. It's hard work.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And like you say, this is not one shot, let's go home. This is hours and hours of research and you know, time and patience and love. And I bet when you get it right, it's like like a little bit of jig, dancing the jig in the field there. Absolutely beautiful. Wonderful. Okay, let's fly on. We're up to image number 12.
So this was with the 2X on, and I had goldfinches breeding in my neighbour's back garden, and I was sat some distance away so as not to disturb them. But again, look at the eye. Look at the eye. I mean, there you go. It's all right, isn't it? You know, I would say, yeah, obviously, if you're going to be doing birds and the birds are a long way away, you're going to need your 300 or you're going to need your 150, 400. But if you're closer into stuff, this is quite useful. Yeah,
absolutely. And the 300 is an absolute killer lens. It's just incredible. You know, and again, it's always budgets. We spoke a little bit about the 100 to 400 Mark II, which is an incredible lens with the image stabilization, the image sync, makes a whole heap of difference. Those tools are just getting better and better and better, and it's just about refining each one and getting better. You know, they sometimes may be small steps, but when you look over the sort of 10, 12 years that we've had mirrorless out, those steps are huge.
They are huge.
And you know, from what we came from the original EM5 13, 14 years ago to where we are now, it is mind-blowing in that small amount of time how that tech's moved forward, isn't it? So let's jump to the next image. Oh wow.
So I went up on the stipe stones to get the moon. I thought I've got to get moon shots, which I didn't. This is the thing, if you, as wildlife photographers, if you go out for something or whatever it is you're going out for, always look around you because you never know what you're going to see. And I saw this cuckoo literally right in front of me, and I had the 2X on at Pro Capture. It's a cuckoo taking off. What more do you want in life? What more do you want?
They're so fast, aren't they, cuckoos?
Yeah. But look
like
at the
super fast for a big bird, well, not a big bird, but for a fairly, I mean, bigger than a swallow or a you know, they're fairly chunky birds, and look how incredible that is.
So say 5-10 years ago, I couldn't have got a shot like this. So you know, I would have missed that moment of takeoff. I'm my finger on the shutter button. Oh, I hope I don't miss. I hope I'm fast enough. There we go. It's a bit of all right.
Like you say, you might have got one shot, you know, it wouldn't have been the shot, but you might have got one, you know. I mean, obviously I'm good doing that, like I'm manually pulling the film across. But you know, I mean, even when you had a sort of motor drives, you would only get 5 frames a second or 6 frames a second with a motor drive. And you know, when we're talking speed.
Also, you're carrying massive lenses.
Oh, huge.
And so, and here I am with this tiny lens and tiny camera, and it's just a different thing. You lift it up, you've got bird AF working at it, and you get the moment of takeoff. It suits me.
So was this with which lens was this?
This is the 5200 and the 2X.
Yeah. Wow, wonderful.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
And interestingly, let's go right back to the top to a customer or a viewer that asked, how do you feel about using the MT20? Oh, it was Charlie. Charlie Harrick said, what's your opinion of using the MT20 with the 50 to 200, which I wanted to come back to when we looked at this image. Talk to us about your experiences with that, because we always know that if you compared without the converter and with the converter, there will be a subtle difference. How can it not be, right?
So I would say I mean, I have to be honest obviously about this as well. I had to do some work on this image to sharpen up it. If you've got something quite really close to you, it's not going to make as much difference. It's when you've got something further away, that's when your diffraction or whatever it is starts to kick in. But that would happen in any system. It would happen with the 500mm Canon and the 2X. It would happen with any of those lenses. But as a backup, when you're out and about and you want something light, I think it's pretty damn good. But for my bird work, because most of the time I was doing this because I was testing this lens, and I would use this lens probably generally more for butterflies and insects and some macro as well, and close-up birds. Normally I'm going to be out with the 150-400 simply because I just need the crazy reach of that lens.
Yeah.
But this is very nice and lightweight if you're out and about walking for the day. It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are looking for that trip, we are doing a trip to Namibia with the 50-200, the 150-400. If you bought one of those white lenses in the last week and that you're in that promotional date, please make sure you get on and you book your safari. And I think I've all told you many times we can't go, which is a little bit frustrating.
Yeah,
but I will put the link in anyway so that you do check.
Go.
What an incredible trip. The T's and C's says nobody working for OM System can enter. And I'm like, no. Oh, well done. Thank you, Jim. So we've put it's really, there's so much. What's lovely about the 50-200, now it started shipping, there are what we call organic content. So there are people that have, like Charlie, and people that don't work for us,
getting some amazing images,
don't get paid to say how fabulous the lens is, are actually out there now, and there are some stunning images. So just check other people's out if you don't want to look at someone that's been paid to say it's amazing, even though that content is all done for free. But have a quick look out there. So okay, only a few more images to go, and tell us about this, Andrew.
Colt it. I'm in my neighbor's garden shooting back. I'm working, really want that lovely backdrop of the plants that are much further away. The bokeh is perfect. That Colt it is in the perfect spot. The eye is perfect. I mean, everything's perfect. And I think I'm doing I'm at f2.8, so I'm just with the bare lens. And that's a bit of all right as far as I can see.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I think it's that thing where, like you say, you'll get the haters will be like, but the separation is incredible.
Yes. That's the f2.8 is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely
beautiful. And there's always the blah 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 about bokeh and background, but what? I mean, you can see it's in flight. You can
Here's
see
the evidence. Here's the evidence. Look, it's all right.
I absolutely love it. And Bill asks, is it the same construction as the 150-400? Yes, it is. And Mr. Kiwi says, stunning.
Thank you.
Absolutely stunning.
Very kind.
We're wonderful about. We've got 2 more images, I think, and we're doing really well with time.
We're doing good. So let's say, really, if people want to start working with insects and insects in flight, this is the lens. I'm just going to say that it is now the lens. There's nobody can beat this because you've got f2.8. You've got super fast autofocus. I did use bird tracking on this actually, so you can try that, or you can try fixed focus. It's interesting. Sometimes it goes, all right then, I'll give it to you, but you're going to take thousands of photos out of focus. Insects are really fast and take off in a bazillion different directions. And what you want with an insect, same as you want with a bird, is you want to see the eye, you want to see the wing spread, and you want there to be a sense of as you said, subject separation, which doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely.
That is not putting a green card there. That's plants and stuff in the background. I'm not putting. I know people who do that. I do not do that.
I know, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because the point, but exactly the point is, if you shot with a smaller aperture, you wouldn't be able to see the bloody subject, right? Sorry, I said the B word. You wouldn't be able to see the subject, so it is quite interesting. Carol says a good question. Carol's asked, what focal point do you use when you're on bird detect, or do you keep your square really small because obviously, or do you have the larger one?
I will have the smaller or the larger rectangle where I'm focusing what the bird is on and the bird. And then what I hope, because obviously birds again take off in a million different directions, and sometimes, quite often, they'll take off with their bum to you. Can't use that. They'll take off with their eye away from you. Can't use that. You can't see the eye, or they've got a nictating eyelid, so it's just as all it's wrong. So most of the time it doesn't work, and it's the same with insects. But if you keep just doing it over and over and over again for days, weeks, months, years, you might eventually get some decent shots. That's what I do. I just put in crazy time.
Absolutely. And my top tip for dragonflies and damselflies, use helicopter mode, because that works. Terry says, what tracking settings? So you said you're using bird for this one?
Bird detect, I haven't gone into the settings. I know I ought to, because this is theoretically what I do for a living. I did watch a video recently. I think I put it to -1 or something, the sensitivity. I don't really understand all that. So which is quite interesting, considering it's what I do and I get published and all that. So I'm sure there is some way forward and I could tweak it all, but yeah, I just bird detect.
Well, I think it's only, you know, if anybody hasn't watched the stream before, there is what we're talking about is continuous autofocus sensitivity. In the camera, there is, you have 5 gradients, -2 up to +2. -2 is for basically if you have a subject, say a grebe with some long grass in front of it, it means that it won't lock onto that grass. It will stay on the subject. If you're just direct in line of the subject and there's nothing between you and your subject, you can use +2, little bit quicker. And it's sort of, you know, it's as I said, -2 is more for when you're in the reeds and it doesn't distract. It's going to completely stay on that subject.
I'm learning something. That's good. Yeah.
Bill asks, what's the pre-order wait time for this lens at the moment, Bill? Which country are you in? We could probably answer that when you tell us. Carol says, do you use a tripod?
Almost very, very rarely. Obviously for Astro, you've got to use a tripod. That goes without saying. But pretty much all my, unless I'm doing locked off and it's a bird in a sensitive situation where I want to move back and do remote control, then I will use the tripod. But most of the time handheld. All my insect work handheld, apart from macro. Yeah.
Wonderful. And Terry again asked, do you use focus limiter?
All the time. Really useful. Really, really a way of you know, if you've got your birds on the feeder and that's more than a certain amount of meters away, you know you can be in that final bit of the limiter. If you've got something much closer to you, I find it very, very useful. Also for macro and crop.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Bill, you are in the UK, the 50 to 200s. We've nearly cleared all back orders. It won't be very long, probably the next shipment if you put your name down, but you will put your name down. There is still a little tiny back order list, but we have done, in the UK, we had huge orders for it. I mean, everybody fell in love with this lens. And so it wouldn't be too long to wait. I don't want to give you specifics because I don't actually know, but I know when I had a meeting earlier in the week, the numbers now for back orders are hugely low. So if it's not this month, it would
buy the lens. Buy it. Serious.
Okay.
I buy it.
I know, it is incredible, right? Absolutely beautiful. Okay, we have 2 slides left. Now this, oh, sorry, I just clicked on that. Oh, I love it.
This made the Guardian Eyewitness Pictures of the Week in the Saturday paper. And this is that thing about near and far. So what Olympus always did with their telephotos was you could photograph something near that you couldn't, you know, with other big lenses from other manufacturers, you couldn't get close into a dragonfly or a butterfly. You can with the Olympus lenses. And so with this 50 to 200, I could get this roosting black darted dragonfly and the sunset in the same shot. This takes some doing. And again, it enabled me to keep my distance. It enabled me to fill the frame with the sun in the background. It's a single shot. It's not a composite.
I was going to say, is it a composite? But it's not, is it?
These are technically hard to do. They're technically hard shots because you've got to find out where the insects are sleeping and not disturb them. So yeah, happy with that.
And this is this is roosting, like you say, at sunset. What an incredible shot. I mean, we'd all dream to get a shot like that because you don't always need detail in color. I mean, obviously it's a color image, but it's a very two-tonal image. And having that silhouette allows us to see the hairs and the structure of the wings.
Exactly.
You know, because sometimes, if this was in color, you may be detracted from those details. But here you get the detail because of the silhouette. And it's one of my favorite images.
And a little tip for anyone. You want to try focusing in this situation where you've got you're focusing into the sun. Use focus peaking, my friends.
Focus peaking on the dragonfly.
On the body of the dragonfly. And you want one of the wings sharp at least, because you can see the other one coming close to you. Because also dragonflies are like they're wide, so so if I put down the f-stop to like f22, that also makes the sun tiny. So you've got to fight with keeping the f-stop open to make the sun big, but that gives you less depth of field. It's hard work, my friends, but worth
I
it.
mean, it is literally trying it at every f-stop, at every angle, till you get the right one. And like I'm getting people saying, how to do this, how to do this. But actually, like you say, it is that practice. Because I would imagine that you've underexposed for this shot, because obviously
you don't want to blow out. You can't blow it out. That's
right.
The thing.
Shooting into the sun, so you're gonna get, but like you say, fine lines. And Nancy said, do you use any filters? Not used any filters on this?
No.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And these are all taken near you or in the Shropshire countryside?
Yeah, Shropshire Hills, up on the Longmynd. Yeah.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Got lots and lots of love. The dark side says absolutely stunning shots.
Thank you
got
so much.
Amazing shot, amazing image. We've got fantastic. So lots and lots of love. Okay, before we say goodbye, I'm going to show your last image.
Yeah.
And before we do that, let's do some homework or housework, as I say. If you are interested in any of Andrew's work, if you are looking, what's he doing? Is he doing workshops? Where's his book? Where do I, this is where you will find him. If you're a magazine editor and you want to, print some of his shots and feature him in a magazine, this is his website. But if you like to look at stunning images, then again, if you're missing any of those UK publications where Andrew is seen all the time, you can head over to his Instagram, which is Andrew Fusek Peters. So really easy to follow. And again, nice and easy and absolutely stunning. Andrew, do you do workshops and things like that?
Very, very little. I'm actually one of these very lucky people that it's not something because I used to do workshops with children, doing poetry and stuff like that was my previous career. So I spend a lot of time in education, and now I just take photos. I will occasionally do a workshop, but I just like to take photos, basically. I don't mind giving talks, but I just like to take photos.
Yeah, and it's that thing. I mean, obviously, when we do go out shooting, we don't tend to do any photography ourselves, and it's like you say, quite nice just have that time on your own, a little bit of time and a bit of love. Okay, we're going to head over to the last image, then we'll say goodbye to Andrew. We'll do a little bit of wrap up, but let's take this last image.
Oi, come on.
Wow, I love he's looking at you through slanted eyes. He's watching you.
So my friend in the village where I live told me where the Tawny owl was roosting by day, which is obviously in a tree hole, literally about half a mile from the village. I went up there 2 days ago. I got out of the car and he just leapt down the tree and hid away. And I thought, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. And then I very slowly drove up with the window down. Of course, your car can act as a hide and you become invisible when you're in your car. And I just only had a couple of minutes because a great big truck thundered by and he went down. But I just bird detect on the eye, small point focus, the 50 to 200, the 1.4, hundredth of a second. What more do you want?
Right. What
It's
more
all right,
do you
isn't
want?
it?
And I love the slightly, sort of framed picture. Again, shows exactly where that owl is. This is not in a zoo. This is not. This is in the wild. Absolutely wonderful. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
As always, an amazing pleasure. And as I said, I will put the links are up for your book. So I'm hoping that somebody will put it in someone's stocking this year. I will see you soon, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. As I said, you've got a lot of love. If you like Andrew, go follow him, and make sure you show some love and share the website. Andrew, lovely to see you, my darling. And I will see you again very soon.
Okay.
Take care, my love. See you soon. Wow. Well, I hope you enjoyed that session. Just a few things from us. Don't forget, we're still running events. There's lots of online events. We have got a session with Andrew McCarthy on Monday, which is all about composition. If you missed the last one, wow. One of my favorite Zooms we've ever done. Because there are so many things you forget when you're looking through the viewfinder and you're thinking metering, autofocus, what am I doing? Sometimes composition can be the one. And I've done it many times when I thought, I wish I'd moved him over in the frame more. Wished I'd done this. So it's a session of 3, but the third one in February is all about post-processing. I know that sounds like a long time to wait, but if you are interested in post-processing, we are finally going to run a session on that. Okay, so that will be all about how you deal with OM raw files, and that's not till February, so you've got ages to come. They're only 10 in British sterling pounds, so keep your eyes on that. Thank you, darling. And yes, so there's lots of events. We've got events all over the US. We have events all over Europe. We're still looking at the first look 50 to 200. They're still coming towards the end of those. And we've got lots of things coming up. We've got the AMA, which is at the end of the month. Laura says she can't wait for a hands-on event. Oh, I haven't seen you for ages, Laura. But we've got, we're going to have a big holiday special, coffee with the Claires. But again, we're going to be out in stores. So look out on our events page. Thank you, Jim. And check out what's going on. You can filter those sessions. If you look down the list and think, oh, I don't know what language is that in, just hashtag at the top English if you're only interested in English ones. If you're only interested in German ones, just put in the little link in the little box at the top, German, English, and it will filter out all the ones you may not be interested in if you think it's a big list. But it is a big list because we've got lots going on all over the world. Promotions, of course, there'll be promotions soon. Black Friday isn't far away. Keep your eyes and ears posted about that. And Jim, last but not least, we also have now got our merchandise shop open. There's some really beautiful new merchandise in there. I've ordered myself a water bottle. It's not arrived yet. And I'm hoping that'll be soon. Have I forgotten anything else? Yes, if you are interested in anything, if you are looking to buy a little present for yourself, again, I'll pop the link in so you can head over to the store. If you're interested in an OM1 or an OM5 or any of the lenses that maybe Andrew has told you about, if you can't stretch to the 50 to 200, maybe you're looking at a 40 to 152.8. Anyway, lots of love from me. Thank you all for joining. I will see you all again. Big thanks to Jim. US holiday savings. Thank you, Jim. You're amazing and lovely to see you all. And hopefully I'll be heading out to Gothenburg. If you are in Gothenburg next weekend, we've got a show there. Head out there and I will see you soon. Love to you all, see you soon. Take care.